And I can guarantee the people that you want to work with probably have a bigger fan base than you. 9 times out of 10, they have a bigger fan base than you. If you want to work with somebody on your own level, what is going on, people? Welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are doing well. In today's video, I'm going to be covering 3 tips or 3 areas that beat makers tend to fall short on that drastically affects their beat sales. So if you're selling beats online, these are 3 things that are going to ensure that you are actually able to convert as many sales as possible and make those as consistent as possible and make those people come back and buy from you again. Okay, and these are 3 things that are just fundamental, but tons of guys overlook them. I'm going to give you some examples in this video, and yeah, let's just dive straight into it. So yeah, let's kick off with tip number 1, or mistake number 1, which is branding. Branding is super important. It's kind of misconstrued across a lot of people, but basically branding is, for those of you that don't know, branding is basically how you come across on your online space, how you sort of position yourself as a beat maker in this space. Do you want to be more vlog orientated? Do you want to be more, hard beats? Do you want to be known for making happy beats? Do you want to be known for doing certain things? And there's a lot of things that come with it, including how your socials look, the color scheme of your website. There's a ton of things that sort of collapse into branding. But one of the main mistakes, one of the key things that I see tons of producers going wrong with is just getting their social medias looking like a legit brand. And it's really easy to do, and actually I see quite a lot of the time that you guys just make your life quite a bit more difficult than it needs to be, because once you have a format and you have go-to types of content that you post, it becomes a lot easier, and that's the actual content that people are going to want to see. Okay, so I'm going to show you how not to do this, and I'm going to give you a couple of examples of people that get this really right. So let's take a look at, okay, so here's an example of one, just as personal preference, is something that I wouldn't really do, especially on Instagram. If you take a look at the profile picture, it's kind of clip arty, it's a bit sort of amateurish, it looks like it just sort of quickly designed a logo, a little circle, a little flame thing there. And then if you look at the content, this is the main thing, the content is just kind of sort of all over the place. There's no real theme. There's like a few beats here and there. There's like a random Omnisphere box. Fair enough, you can tell that they make beats, but it just from looking at it, it just doesn't look that attractive. You've got all that big text that's sort of not even on. You can't even see the whole word that's on there. Random reposts. It just doesn't look very fluent. It doesn't look appealing to the eye. And at the end of the day, that's what Instagram is. If you're looking at Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, it has to be appealing to the eye before you even bother, clicking on the profile. So just from first impressions, this isn't a very good page, and just something that you wouldn't be attracted to as as an artist or as a rapper if you're looking for beats on Instagram. Now let's take a look at our good friend Kyle Beats. Well, not my good friend, but he's doing pretty well. Let's take a look at Kyle Beats. Now Kyle Beats, if you literally just take a look at this page at a glance, you can instantly see there's a real common theme. It's super obvious that he makes beats. He's got the keyboard in a lot of his pictures and their previews. He's got a real nice sort of color scheme. He's got a real nice color scheme, that kind of blue and sort of desaturated kind of look. It just looks super professional. The quality of the pictures are high, the video quality is high. Even the username's really important as well. Like, there's no underscores, there's no numbers or anything that's like hard to remember. Real memorable names, quite long, but it's still memorable. Profile picture is super professional. It just kind of works, and especially if you're on social media, you come across as a lot more personal if you have like your own face as a profile picture. So that's a good example. I give you one more just to reinforce that. I'm not like tooting my own horn, but this is my page. Again, professional profile picture, easy to remember username, everything's in the bio. Then you sort of scroll down, and there's a fairly common theme throughout, the sort of beat cookups, useful tips, beat previews, anything that I've got going on for free, free content and all that kind of stuff, little memes here and there. So that's literally what you need to be aiming for. You need to find content that you're going to enjoy making and content that you're going to enjoy doing consistently. Make sure you're posting that. You need to have a username that's memorable. You need to have a decent profile picture, and all these things are translatable. I'm not just specifying this to Instagram. This sort of applies for YouTube, it applies for your beat store, Twitter, whatever you may use, it applies to that. I'm just using Instagram as an example. So branding is really important, and that's how you need to get that right. You need to pick a consistent theme, consistent colors, professional profile picture, and username. That's super essential, and a decent bio, and you will be set. Okay, so that's the mistake and tip number 1. Tip number 2 and mistake number 2 is ego. Egos kill 90% of your sales if you are a douchebag, and I've been through that entitlement phase before where you think everybody owes you money, everybody needs to buy your beat immediately because you're God's gift. Truth is, that is not the case. Take a look at your social medias. A lot of people say it's wrong to look at numbers, but just take a look at your numbers and compare them to the people that you're reaching out to, and I can guarantee the people that you want to work with probably have a bigger fan base than you. If you want to work with somebody on your own level, then great. But where the problem lies is that you're expecting, or you have this expectation that people are going to buy from you from the get-go. Never go into a conversation with that expectation. That's just going to kill any chances of you making a sale. Why? Because it's super transparent. If you literally send a message to somebody and you have that mindset that you actually just want to get in their pocket and make a sale, it's going to come across in everything you say. So a way to kind of get rid of that, sort of alleviate that, is just drop your ego. Okay, go into a conversation with the expectation that you want to give them something, you want to provide them value, talk about the things that they're interested in. 9 times out of 10 is going to be their music, how long they've been making music for, what got them interested in music. I don't know, what inspires them, anything. You can literally talk about anything. As long as you're talking about what they're interested in, as long as you're talking about, where they want to go with their career, the conversation will naturally lead back to actually maybe getting in some work with that artist. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. Move on to the next person because they probably weren't looking for beats in the first place. Okay, you're not going to get a sale from every person that you reach out to. So that's another huge area where I see people go wrong, is they just immediately go in for the sale, they immediately go in, trying to get money from people, and that's not the way you need to go about it. All of my previous tutorials before, when I speak about, how to sell beats, how to reach out to artists, all of those are sort of strategies and ways that you can go about doing that. But if you sort of have the expectation of you're just trying to make sales all the time, it's not going to be beneficial to you in the slightest. So drop all your egos, drop that expectation, and trust me, you will benefit from it. Now that brings me to my final tip, which is inconsistency, or that's the mistake, is inconsistency. You need to be consistent. But what I mean by consistency, it kind of links in with the branding side of things, is be consistent over every social media platform that you're using, okay? So if you're on Instagram, have the same profile picture for your YouTube, have the same bio and the same profile picture on your BeatStars or Airbit. Twitter, have the same profile pictures, have links to every other social media that you have across all of those social medias. Make it super obvious that you are a producer on all of your social medias. Make sure it's easy for people to contact you on every single social media, and just make sure that everything is consistent through every single website. The color scheme, make sure that you're using the same colors on the website, on your Instagram, on your YouTube, blah, blah, blah. If somebody wants to find you, they'll know exactly if it's you or not when they're searching for you on that platform. So let's say somebody found you on Instagram and they wanted to see if you uploaded videos to YouTube, like you're watching right now. If they go onto YouTube and type in your username, they should be able to type in your exact same username that they used on Instagram and be able to find you within seconds. Because when people are looking for you, especially if you're sort of just starting out, you don't have a huge following, you don't have a huge fan base, you need to make sure that they're going to find you easily, because they can't, they're just going to move on to the next producer, okay? Be realistic with yourself and just take a look at your situation. If you don't have the biggest following and you kind of, you're just starting out and you're sort of wanting to push yourself out there, make sure that it's super easy for everyone to find you. And I know when you first begin, it's quite difficult because, you don't have that much authority and you're not going to be easy to find in the, search rankings. But the best way and the best sort of chance you can give yourself to be found consistently, across all platforms, across BeatStars, across everything, is keep everything the same in terms of all your metadata. So your username needs to be exactly the same, and your username, as a little side tip, needs to be super memorable and sort of, easy to find in a way. So a way to go about doing that is use one or two words, no underscores, no spaces, no numbers, just a word that is really memorable. So for me, it's LL Beats Official. It's fairly easy to remember. Kyle Beats, Kato, Superstar O, Cash Money AP. All of those people have one-word names. It's really easy to find. And a little side tip, because I do understand that, you know, Instagram's huge, YouTube's huge. So finding a username that you can use consistently across all platforms is kind of difficult. So I've got a bit of advice for you. Go onto a website. It's called leanfordomain.com or something like that. I'll put the link down in the description, and type in a username idea, you know, something that you would like to use as a username. Click enter, and it'll literally give you a list of, you know, over 100, sometimes thousands of username ideas. And the best part about it is that it'll give you the availability across social media platforms. So that means you don't have to waste time, you know, searching on every website. It gives you Twitter. It lets you know if the domain name's available. The only one it doesn't let you know is if Instagram is available, if that Instagram username is available. But an easy way to remedy that is literally go onto Instagram, type in www.instagram.com, and then put / and then put in the username that you would like to use, or the one that's been given to you. And that's just a good way to check for it. Okay, rant over. I've been talking a lot about consistency, but all of those 3 things are super important. It's really, really essential that you get those things down, and just make sure that you're making yourself as transparent, as easy to find, and just as easy to work with as possible. So make sure you've got your branding right, make sure you're looking legit, make sure you look professional, make sure that you are not being a douche, make sure you've dropped that ego, stop being egotistical, stop expecting people to buy from you constantly. It's not how it works. You need to build relationships to build revenue, okay? And the third thing is just be consistent. Make sure everything is the same throughout your online space, and you will be fine. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss out on the next upload, and I will see you guys next time.